I'm Ginevra. She's Sharon. We both have personal and professional expertise in managing fibromyalgia. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the history of Fibromyalgia Awareness Day and then talking about some exciting things going forward. For those of you that don't know, it's observed on May 12th, and it is that day was chosen to honor the birthday of Florence Nightingale, who may have suffered from fibromyalgia. And the day was first observed in 1992. And it serves as an annual reminder to increase awareness and understanding of fibromyalgia. And Sharon has really been part of it since the beginning. So today we wanted to kind of have Sharon show us a tour through history of Awareness Day and where we're going forward.
Yeah, thanks. It's an exciting time, and no, I didn't start in 1992. I wasn't diagnosed until 1997.
But Awareness Day started in 1992.
Awareness Day,
There we
but
go.
who knew? Like, when you read that, I'm like, oh, I don't even remember seeing that in the history of the event that it, had its beginnings that far ago. So, yes, so as some of you know, if you watch some of our other episodes, I started the Fibromyalgia Association. It was begun as a support and education group in 1997, 1 year after I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And as I said, we started as a support and education group, but over the years, we started to see ways that we could further help the community raise awareness, do different things. And I became familiar with the Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. So in 2001, we hosted our very first of Fibromyalgia Awareness Day with a local rheumatologist. And then each year we just kept reaching out to more and more people. And I like to laugh. I felt a little bit like Oprah because I could go up to people and be like, hey, I'm doing this awareness day and I think you're amazing. And it would be so fantastic to have you come and speak to my group. And so that's how I got to meet some wonderful scientists, researchers, and even my fellow co-host here on the show. That's where it all began.
Yep.
So, so yeah, and I started it because as some of you again may know, the reason I started my support group was when I first got sick, there was so little information. This was 1996-ish. And the internet certainly isn't what it is now. And so I traveled to Oregon and attended this fabulous conference. We've even had one of our viewers, Wright, who was at that conference as well. And if you are watching, I still owe you an email. I'd just like to say to all of our people, we love getting the comments and emails. It does take us a while to get back with you, and we appreciate your patience, but all of them matter. And we talk about them together. And we even, when we keep seeing a topic coming up that rises, makes us take that topic like higher in our like discussion as far as we need to do a show on this sooner because it's really coming up. So all of that matters. Please keep it coming and just know that we'll get back with you as soon as we can. But I traveled to this conference in Oregon and had this awesome opportunity to meet support group leaders from around the world, from across the country, researchers, and having that direct experience was what really helped me on my fibromyalgia journey. And I continued to have events like that. And so after a few years, when I started thinking about Awareness Day, I thought, wow, what if I kept going to these events and bringing the information back to the members in our support group, which is much like what Ginevra and I get to do here now on the show. We know that it takes, one study said it can take 17 years for research to make it from a researcher's hands into your clinician's hands. And we want to shorten that time frame. So keep watching our show. That's what we do here. That's what I do at the support group. And that's what I was doing with the Fibromyalgia Awareness Day, because I really think the opportunity to hear from the scientist, the researcher, the clinician, the influencer, like authors that I've had come and speak to our group, the firsthand experience of that is so different than the shared experience. And I'm not saying that the shared experience isn't valuable. It's very valuable, especially if that's the only way you can get it. But that's why Fibromyalgia Awareness Day became so important to me. And so I wanted to give people in our organization that opportunity to hear from folks. So anyways, I'd like to share a little bit so you can get a taste and feel of what of our Awareness Day has been like, and continue to walk you through this. And I guess if I'm going to pause for one moment, if you're sitting there and thinking, well, what are you doing this year for Fibromyalgia Awareness Day? Keep in mind that at the end of this little chat about the photos and the origins, we're going to be discussing a live virtual event that is hosted by the Fibromyalgia Association, with the official sponsors being us here at the Fibro Show and Tonics. And we're going to share that information with you after this, so stay tuned. Yeah, so I thought I'd start by showing some photos from Awareness Day of past, so to speak. Um, and as I said before, my association started off as a support and education group. We grew into the Fibromyalgia Association of Michigan, and you see that logo here on the screen. So that's just our welcome, and we had some pins. We've been working for over 24 years doing these awareness days. And this was actually our last in-person Fibromyalgia Awareness Day before COVID. And some of you might recognize Tammy Stackelhaus here, who is a good friend of ours, has the Fibromyalgia Institute and the Fibromyalgia podcast. And she was our speaker that year. And hey, here's Ginevra, and here we are with Dr. Deanna Lights, who is a reporter on WWJ News in Detroit, and so we were able to get an interview in when Ginevra was in town for Awareness Day the year she came.
That was really cool. I think that was 2017, I want to say.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was just blanking on that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Some of you also might notice Dr. Daniel Claw from this photo, who's the director of the Chronic Pain and Fatigue Research Center at the University of Michigan. And he probably wins the award for being on the Awareness Day most often because we're so blessed to have him and his center right here in Michigan. He was actually the first year he moved the center from Georgetown to U of M. I think that was the first year at our Awareness Day, and that was in 2003. And featured here too is Dr. Mark Lumley from Wayne State University, who's done some very exciting work in fibromyalgia, and a psychologist, Dr. Fenster. So we bring in a variety of speakers. This is a tribute that we had done thanks to some special people in the state of Michigan House and Senate. We've worked with them, I think, pretty much right from 2001, and working to get proclamations, tributes, raising awareness in the state legislature about the needs of people with fibromyalgia, because there's a lot of work that could be done in creating bills and different things that would impact our families. So that's always been an important aspect of the Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. This is one of our favorite champions, State Senator Steve Beda. He's no longer a state senator for Michigan, but he was very instrumental in a lot of our past awareness days and getting proclamations and different things started, and really championing fibromyalgia. And here's Dr. Claw again. So you can see we've had him through the years, and some different shots from people. We've had upwards of 300 people at our conferences, so it varies quite a bit from year to year. This is Dr. Crawford, who was at the time at the University of Michigan, and she's a fantastic fibromyalgia researcher.
You've had some big names in the field.
I know. Like I said, it's been super fun. It's been my Oprah moment where I can try to reach out to folks and see if I can entice them to travel to Michigan and do these events for us. These are two fantastic authors. I highly recommend their book. They're a married couple, Greg and Sherry Pyburn. All of a sudden I have complete fibro fog, and I'm blanking on the title of his book, but I will drop it in the show notes. And it's
the one that did the accompanying his wife in chronic illness.
Yes.
That one. Okay.
Alongside, yes. And I'm totally blanking. I'm very sorry, but it will be in the show notes, and it's really worth the read, especially if you're in a relationship with someone with fibro. I highly recommend it for both people. And he did a wonderful workshop presentation that year, because we know fibromyalgia really affects the whole family, and him and his wife are very candid in that book about, he refers to fibromyalgia in their lives as the invisible intruder, and how together, they worked to manage this invisible intruder.
I wonder if we could get them on the show.
That would be interesting. Just part of the title came to me and it blanked. But yeah, um, I have not been in touch with them in a while. But yes, always it would be great to revisit them for sure. And this is a nurse, Kim Groner from the University of Michigan. And for a couple years, we did a little twist on our Awareness Day. There's a large traveling conference called the International Michigan. Well, here it's called the International Michigan Women's Show, but it's in different states, and thousands of women go to this show. And so I got the idea, like, wouldn't it be cool if we got on the speakers? Presentation list so that we could do talks at this conference for people who come to this for all kinds of things. It's really more of a social outing for women with, you name it, anything female related, fun stuff, jewelry, clothes, health, it's all there. So we had presentations throughout the day during like 4 days. We had a booth there. And it was really fantastic.
Is it kind of like TEDx or like one of those platforms where like lots of people are talking about lots of different things? Or is
Yes.
it okay?
Yep. There's authors. Meredith Baxter Burney was there
Oh,
talking, and I'm really proud of one of our volunteers who was working with me as a co-leader in the support group. She approached Meredith Baxter and talked to her about fibromyalgia. So yeah,
wow.
it was very cool. And I wish I had that picture to show here. I'll have to show that later on.
Next year.
Next year. That's right. Um, there was a movie done by the National Fibromyalgia Association, and we were proud to partner with them on many occasions. They really were instrumental in starting the Fibromyalgia Awareness Day movement in the United States. So they had a film called Living with Fibromyalgia, and I partnered with a local movie theater so that we could actually see it in the theater together. And we had some trade show tables and different things, and then we had like a luncheon afterwards, and it was a lot of fun too.
That's so cool, and it's great to see it on like the marquee like that. That's fantastic.
I know, I was so excited because that was up there for maybe a month. So I just thought, oh, how cool is that to be, driving down the road and maybe people would see it and ask about it. And I know we had a couple walk-ins who, saw that on the sign, and you were like, what's going on? I
That's
have
really cool.
fibromyalgia. Yeah. Dr. Patrick Wood, who is a great researcher with fibromyalgia, was there one year, and we loved learning about the science he was working on. And he's another one that I would love to circle back on and see, what's new in his space since we've met last. For sure. And this is Jeff Hargrove. He was involved in a company called Serifex, and they were doing a study on neuromodulation devices. So one year had him present at Awareness Day the work that they were doing on that. And they also at that point were looking for people to participate in their research trial. And I actually did that as well. I participated. And I know that, as I said, stay tuned, because when we're done with this little slideshow, I'm going to tell you about this year's program. And part of the purpose of this year's program, too, is to talk a little bit about the research that's happening in fibromyalgia and encourage people, if you haven't been introduced to the concept of participating in a research study, it's so important to do that. Like, if you have the ability, and two things can happen there. First, you might be lucky enough to receive whatever the treatment is. And if it goes the way the researchers are hoping it goes, you may actually get benefit from being in that research study, which was my experience when I did that. But the second part is just knowing the good that you're doing for our community, because without people being willing to be in research studies, there would be no science on fibromyalgia. I know, Ginevra, you and I were just talking about this with a guest that's going to be on the show soon, that with fibromyalgia, a lot of the research can't be done in animals. So we need the humans to be
Yes.
involved in
Yeah.
fibromyalgia research.
100%. And that's how you advance fibromyalgia science, is really being willing to be a guinea pig.
Like we often feel like anyways, right?
Right,
When we're trying all the different
exactly.
things and you don't know how it's gonna go. That's very real. And, shout out to everybody when you feel that anxiety about trying something new. Know that that's totally normal when you've tried so many things and you have this like worry, like, ugh, is this not going to be good? Is it going to be good? Like, give yourself credit for being courageous enough to put the hope in trying something new.
That's a beautiful way to say it. And leave us some comments if that like resonates for you guys. Leave us we love hearing from you guys the comments and questions and things that come up. So leave those and subscribe and like, and back to you, Sharon.
Thank you. Yep. All good points. Oh, this was our first we did an advocacy day at the state capitol in Lansing, Michigan, and we were actually able to do a luncheon for the legislators. And Dr. Claw gave a presentation as well as our state legislators who were championing the cause. And so we met with like over 118 legislators that day. And it
Wow.
was really fantastic. And we also went around after the luncheon and presentations to all of the offices to make sure all of the offices received a packet on fibromyalgia awareness. And I'm really proud of that event.
Can I just say, Sharon, you're such a badass. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but I just want to say that like this picture is amazing and demonstrates how much effort and love and work you've put into helping the fibromyalgia community over the years. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I am going to take a pause here for a minute and just shout out. So, this is actually my mom and my dad are nearby to me in this photo, and some other just fabulous volunteers. We got Deborah and Don Morris. They're on my left side of the screen. And then my dad, volunteer Rose, me, my mom, another amazing volunteer and co-leader of the support group, Colleen Karpinski, Jan Chambers, who became the president and founder of the National Fibromyalgia and Chronic Pain Association. And for all of you who follow my story, on the end there, the woman is Mary Ann, the lady in the pool who got me moving again. So I'm
Oh,
excited that she's in this photo with her dear husband, Mark. But I want to highlight that all of the events I've done and all of the work that I've done the last 28 years, I can't do it alone. And it's taken volunteers, all of which are people with fibromyalgia. A lot of them are family and friends. And then that's also how we get more volunteers is typically our volunteers are other loved ones of family and friends involved in the organization. So, um, if you want to get involved in some way, reach out. We sometimes don't really know where we can delegate with volunteers, but we are always interested in finding out if there are people with skills, and abilities that can help with things. We haven't been doing the in-person events since COVID, and there's interest there in doing lives again in person, I should say. But it does take a lot of manpower. So, and then we know that people now are interested in attending our events from across the country. So this is Congressman Sonder Levin, and I was in a group working with him on some healthcare needs. And so, like the Fibromyalgia Awareness campaign truly happens year long. It's much more than just the day when we present the day. It's work that I do, and I work with other volunteers in my organization. I partner with other organizations like the NFA, like the National Fibromyalgia and Chronic Pain Association, to come together when we can, really raise our voices in a collective way and help people with fibromyalgia. And here's a few more scenes from, a typical awareness day and seeing couples and families together. It always warms my heart when we see the family members come and attend. So I encourage you when we talk about Awareness Day in just a moment here, even though again it's a virtual conference, I hope that you'll nudge your loved one to maybe come with you and sit on the couch or watch it when it's convenient for them because you'll also get a recording of it. This was a lovely tribute that was given to me by state representatives Lori Stone and Jim Ellison for my 22 years of work at that point with the Fibromyalgia Awareness Day campaign. And here's some more volunteers, which that's my husband in the middle there. Another wonderful volunteer, Mike. We do have men in our support group, so I know that we get that question here quite a bit on the Fibro Show. Are there any men in this group? So I encourage you to read the comments and respond to one another, because I know it really helps men and everybody, no matter what it might be, when there's sort of a community that you resonate with, when you can connect with somebody else who shares things in maybe more in common, like two guys talking about fibromyalgia. I know that there's some really helpful conversations that happen there. And the kids there, one of those is my son. The other one is basically my adopted son. He's not really mine, but was around quite a bit. So these have been going on for a long time. I'm getting a kick out of seeing all the hairstyles and the different looks I've had over the years. This is quite the flashback. So, and we would have a little trade show hall with people talking about what was happening in fibromyalgia and snacks and different things. And so, of course, we can't really do that um, on the virtual in the same way, but we're learning new ways to make the virtual as impactful. And we know that it is, because the cool thing is we've been able to now include a lot of people from across the entire state of Michigan, across the country, and yes, even around the world. So that's a little snapshot into, what we've been doing. I wanted to share that with all of you, and thank you if you stuck around this long. It was really to show how many people got involved with this, how many people were interested in helping in both legislative communities, healthcare communities, the people themselves with fibromyalgia, loved ones. We've had healthcare providers attend our conferences, and this year we know that it's no different. So, this year, our featured speakers are our very own Ginevra Lipton, who's on the show here, and also Dr. Daniel Claw, who will be back. And we just talked about him a bit here in the presentation, and he is a world-renowned researcher in fibromyalgia. So I'm really excited to chat with him and find out kind of what's new in fibromyalgia research, as well as get tools from both he and Ginevra on management tools that we can use. Ginevra and I are going to have a little discussion about self-management,
Self-care 101.
self-care 101, and so much more. So we're also going to start the day off with a fun visit with some guests who will be filling us in on what's happening across the United States to raise awareness for fibromyalgia. And I hope that will give you all a lot of hope that there's many people just grassroots working, trying to do whatever they can. Everything that we do, even when you get a permit to light up like a building nearby purple, and then that gets people in your community asking, well, why are there purple lights on this building? And then you can say it's for fibromyalgia awareness. And you would be surprised how many people then say, oh my gosh, my aunt has that, or whatever.
Mm.
And it starts this whole conversation, which then gives us the opportunity to talk about how impactful the illness is. And so some folks might not understand, and we know actually a lot of folks don't understand. They see you, you look fine at, Easter dinner, and they have no idea what you go home to and how you really do on a day-to-day basis. And we get that that's not something that you always want to talk about. But letting our friends and family know, like, how challenging the illness is, and that really the illness still lacks a lot of effective treatments. The diagnosis is still like really difficult and time consuming. It can take upwards of 5 years to get a diagnosis. And many, many, many people tell us here at the Fibro Show and at the Fibromyalgia Association that they cannot find a doctor who understands how to manage it. And so that's part of the work that we're doing here at the Fibro Show. That's part of the reason for Awareness Day. while the Awareness Day conference is not really like a medical conference, there will be a lot that a provider can take away if you'd like to come and attend that would be very helpful to you and your patients. And yes, if you are listening right now, we are down the road. We plan to have more resources both on managefibro.org, the association's page, and here special episodes for healthcare providers. But there's something to be gained there for all of you at the event. And so we're really encouraging everybody to purchase a registration to the event. It's only $12. We picked that because May 12th, as Ginevra said at the beginning of the show, is International Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. So in honor of that, the registration fee is $12. Even if you have people who just want to show their support and buy a ticket and don't come, that's fine too. Like, just showing the support is so important. And each registration does more than just give the person buying the ticket entry. It also enables our organization to go out and provide the support and education group, to provide the opportunity for me and Ginevra to go to medical conferences and speak, like we're going to be doing at Pain Week in September. And many, many more ways that we work to educate both people with fibromyalgia and healthcare providers. So when you're buying a ticket to Awareness Day, you're helping yourself for sure. And you're doing all of that. So please give yourself a pat on the back and and
Gentle
buy
one.
a ticket. And, you know, host a watching party, take pictures. We'd love to have you share them to the Facebook page, which is Facebook at Fibro Association, or, email them to me. And if it's okay, I'll share them. We just would love to see the community getting involved. And if, you're lucky enough to have family and friends who would participate with watching with you, whether it's the live or you guys, pick another time and watch the recording, which will be out to people who purchase it within 5 days of the event. Pick a time that's good for you and host a little party and get people knowledgeable about fibromyalgia. Everything that anybody does matters. And the funny thing is, you have no idea the change you might be making for somebody by sharing valuable resources like even this show, or the association, or um, I'm blanking on my other thought there, but I can't tell you how many people come to the Fibro Association and say, I've had fibro for 10 or 20 years. I didn't know you were here. And they're telling us on the Fibro Show, I've learned more from you in the last couple months than I've learned ever. So when you connect people to resources, you might just really be doing something that has impact beyond your wildest dreams. So we appreciate you liking, subscribing, um, commenting, and certainly spreading the word and telling your healthcare providers too that the show exists. And tell them about Awareness Day now. And again, for more of those details, it's May 10th from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. If you want to be there live, which I encourage because you might be able to get your questions answered that way, there will be some Q&As. And all of the registration info is at managefibro.org. During the next month too, if you're on Facebook, please, please, please share our posts. We're going to have a lot of FibroFact posts. And if you can keep sharing those and we can make them go viral, then a lot of people are going to learn some of the basic facts about fibromyalgia. And it's so helpful. So there's a lot of ways you can get involved. And if you have other ideas or questions, reach out. We'd love to know what your thoughts are. Maybe you have some good ideas we haven't thought about yet.
And Sharon, thank you so much for all the work that you've done on a volunteer basis for 27 years now? So
It'll be 28 in November.
wow. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Everybody in the community, myself included.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's been very rewarding and it's helped me.
mutually beneficial.
It's mutually beneficial, yes. So, also in closing, I just also really wanna thank this year's sponsors who are allowing us to have bigger reach. So that's, Tonix is an official sponsor alongside the Fibro Show here, and I also wanna give a shout out to our other great sponsors, the Fibromyalgia podcast. Tune into that. That's a great show, a lot of great resources there, and the law firm of Levine Benjamin, which is in Michigan, and they might serve a couple other states too. So if that's you, they're a wonderful resource to check out. And I know that they're going to be doing a speaking opportunity soon with our support and education group. So if that interests you, do connect with the Fibro Association at managefibro.org. And it's great to be here with you guys as always. And until the next episode, we're sending some fibro love out.